Good morning. Welcome to Paradise Now, Dialogues with the Mother. My name is Sanda Davis, and I'm your host for today's show and for many shows to come. In the beginning of the show, in the first episode, I was saying that we are here for paradise, serving people. Paradise is the opportunity. The earth has the key elements that allow the connection between the human and the divine, and also has the connections in the universe that would connect every individual to their own universal path. Once the human and the divine are connected, the individual higher level with the individual human, once they are connected, they also start their connection with their higher places, with their places of mission. As people come to be born in biological form, they have the advantage of being right at the merging point of microcosmos and macrocosmos, micro-universe and macro-universe, and the human structure in all of its components, from biological, spiritual, emotional, mental, all the components of the human structure and reality and activity allow the connection from the atomic level to the cosmic, either micro or macrocosmic, universal, micro or macro-universal. The galaxies are projected in the solar plexus. The stars, the map stars of a person from a specific celestial place is represented on the body, inside the body. The lights inside the body would replicate, would actually commune with the stars up there. For instance, I sat face to face with somebody whose star map was Orion, and I could recognize the stars from Orion. And if I studied further and communicated further with a person, then I got more and more into the dynamic that was in the person, that was in the constellation Orion. Some people are on Earth and they know that they are from a different place. It doesn't mean aliens in human form. It means children of God who have a level in the constellation, a level in the micro-universe, a level in the microcosmos, a human level, and they are working through this wholeness that leads them to further work, which has to be tuned and trained right at the merging place of all aspects of reality, which is what a human is. A human is the merging place of all aspects of reality, controlling the way the microcosmos functions inside the human body, having a healthy microcosmos inside would connect beautifully with the macrocosmos. One whose physiology is all based on light and based on God-responsive processes, God-responsive law, would be properly lined up to their higher place. They would be able to connect their higher places of reality. So we're not talking about aliens, I repeat that. We're talking about the same being that will have atoms, that will have galactic lights in their solar plexus, that will have a cosmic clock right here in the heart area, that will have gates to paradise in the left side of the body, that influence heart and the left hemisphere for thinking and for connecting in light and truth, and all the characteristics that allow the alive individual to connect to the other dimensions of paradise. Everything about the human body is much more than meets the eye. Everything about a human being at any level is much more than meets the eye. Well, a human being is already at the gates to paradise. It's already at the point of development towards paradise. Everybody who is on earth has a God-helped, divinely supported potential to merge with their higher levels while continuing to be on earth. And what that does, it gives a better possibility for their divine level to help the human, and gets a better possibility for the human to understand their divine level. Once that connection is made, some would call it reconnection because some had the connection and they lost it. But those who were never connected to their divine level would be able to start to understand what that does for them. To connect to the divine level, people have to develop their divine qualities. Once they develop their divine qualities, which will be explained in future shows, but once they develop their divine qualities, then capacities develop. I'll give you two simple examples, kindness and truth. Somebody who is truthful and kind, who has the light of kindness and the light of truth, the field of kindness and the light of truth, they will be able to connect on that path with their divine level. Being truthful and knowing the truth is one of the connections. But if they are not also kind, just knowing the truth will not connect them. Will just give them the information but not connect them. Why? Because someone who is an expert in the truth and uses the truth to do wrong does not have access to the divine. Somebody who is using the truth to stay away from kindness or to fight against kindness is not allowed to connect to the divine. Just knowing, even if they know 100% of everything they need to know, just knowing is not enough. What do they do with the knowledge that they have? How do they use the truth? Do they defend the truth and they use truth with kindness, or they use truth like a whip? Do they use truth to enlighten all, or they know the truth and hide it from everybody else? One who shares the truth and brings enlightenment is closer to the gate to paradise than one who is hiding the truth and who says, I don't want anybody to know, I want to keep that advantage for myself. The divine qualities, which will be all of them explained, and you'll see what their role is and why they are so important, will open pathways to capacity. Care for people would open the capacity for healing. A person who has already a tendency towards and a desire towards healing people can come to a point of developing healing capacities. We're currently looking for advertisers and sponsors for our show. If you wish to advertise or sponsor our show, please refer to the information on the screen and contact us. Thank you. At the beginning of the show today, I was recommending videos from the shows that I already had. This is show 25. First show was in the end of July 2016. I would recommend that you go to YouTube, to the page Paradise Now Dialogues with the Mother. Make sure that you write the whole thing, Paradise Now Dialogues with the Mother, because there's something else, Paradise Now, some other shows with Paradise Now that are on a different kind of production. Now, as you go to Paradise Now Dialogues with the Mother, to understand better what I'm talking about today, as I'm talking about the plan of God for people, I would recommend the first show where I explain some things about paradise. Then I recommend show number 5, I believe. I'll have to check the number, but it doesn't matter. Look for the title, The Journey. And I would also recommend the show that mentions the gates to the eternal paradise, because inside, right on the left side of the body, there are portals of light that are the gates to the eternal paradise, which connects to other dimensions. Now, those gates, when they are open and when one being is connected to paradise, those are all lights. There are 10 lights, different degrees, different size, different closeness, like the stars. Some are brighter, some are less bright. When people are not connected, then there is no visible light there. It's like the light is covered. It's hardly any. It's like the little embers under the cinders. But the structures are there. Nobody would be alive on Earth without those gates. They wouldn't be accepted on Earth, and they wouldn't be able to be alive on Earth if they didn't have those gates. The purpose for coming to Earth is to connect to paradise. It's not to take over the Earth because Earth is paradise. That was the wrong interpretation of what they're doing here. And some went on a takeover, and they defeated their own purpose, which is actually to evolve, to develop, and to understand, and to have much more than what they can have on Earth. If you want, you can look at the Earth as a school that will reach perfection as we teach those that proceed to violence, that that's not the way. When the whole planet reaches the paradise condition, then there'll be no violence, there'll be no hunger. All civilization will be like you see in portrayed in the Star Trek movies, where Earth no longer has those problems, but they do the fights in cosmos. Well, there'll be no fights in cosmos. Nobody makes it to cosmos to start fighting, but that's a different thing. What happens, the evolutionary plan of people that come from some other places, that's why they all talk about going back home, going home. There are earthlings that are here to receive those who come to Earth and to help them, and then there are those who come from other places. They come, they learn what they can, and they go. They learn much less without going through paradise. They lose much more of themselves without going through paradise. They can lose their heart, they can lose their soul, they can lose their spirit, they can give it to the wrong direction or to the wrong plan. While if they go with the paradise direction, that's the path to their infinite development, to their infinite future. It is very, very important to understand that everybody has the divine qualities, but they have to pay attention to them and they have to develop them. That's where character comes in. People with a good character would choose to be honest, would choose the truth. Truth is one of the gates to the eternal paradise. people with good character would choose integrity. Well, integrity is a gate to paradise. Not just internal integrity takes all the way to the cosmic paradise. People with a good character, they are honest with who they are. They want to be themselves. They don't pretend they are somebody else. They don't try to be somebody else. They are just themselves, and they do their best. And if you look at all the gates to the internal paradise, everywhere their character is very important. Even if somebody, for instance, cannot pass the gate of ability because they have disabilities, a good character would lead the individual to healing. One who truly wants to be healed would find the healing, and that's where the kingdom part of kingdom of God on earth would provide the possibilities for healing, so that not only the person is healed, but the gate of ability will open for that being to become a paradise being. Paradise, as I was saying, it is a reality. It is a developmental stage that allows the wholeness and the evolution beyond the human presence here. Everybody who is here on earth to learn what they need, to learn what they can, will have to bring that knowledge and that power, that capacities that they develop, they will have to bring it where they are coming from. One being that comes here and studies plants and does gardening and does farming may be on their planet the beings that help for that planet to develop nature, to develop aspects of nature that would allow for plants to grow, for forests to grow high. Once on Earth, the different beings that come with different purposes will be drawn towards what's interesting to them. And they would want to do that. Therefore, it is very important to listen to your inner voice, to your inner calling for what do you want to do with your life. Of course, you have to develop a complex reality in your life. But what do you do? Everything matters. Family matters, society matters, profession matters. All of those would develop aspects of life that can be enjoyable here and now, that can be evolving, that can help developing your complexity, but also prepare you from a higher life, for a higher life in a different place where you, ideally where you came from. If you train for the wrong place, then you'll have to come back and go back to the right place. So what the plan is for the individual is for each one to be helped and to develop the qualities that allows the development of capacities, which then are empowered to achieve tasks that are important here on earth and beyond the life on earth. And we are in a time when the improvement of all aspects of qualities of life, including the presence on earth of the potential for infinite life, would allow life on earth to be the best transition ever. It is assisted from all levels of divinity, and it is available to all who want to undertake that work. Each one's is more than journey, it becomes work. Once in paradise, it becomes it becomes work. Before entering the paradise dimensions is a journey. Entering the paradise dimension is already work for the development for the higher levels and the higher places. In the next segment, I'll tell you more. For people who missed our previous shows, we recommend that you go and visit YouTube and type in search Paradise Now Dialogues with the Mother. You'll find there all the episodes. Please leave your comments. We're interested in what you think. We're looking forward to hear from you. We're currently looking for advertisers and sponsors for our show. If you wish to advertise or sponsor our show, please refer to the information on the screen and contact us. Thank you. This is the host of the show, Sanda Davis, letting you know that people called and asked about a book with the content of the show, and I'm happy to let you all know that the book is already being put together and is being edited. It will be available with the main topics.
Float me on the China Sea, float me on the China Sea, float me on the China Sea. Long way from home, on the boulevard of...
Welcome back. We're talking about the plan of God for people, for Earth, the whole plan. I was saying that people born as humans on Earth, they have what it takes to connect between the human and the divine. They have what it takes to prepare and to deserve entering the paradise dimension. First, the right to be on Earth and to head towards paradise on Earth and further beyond is a given, is granted. But one thing is to have the right, and another thing is to develop what it takes to exercise that right. It's like anybody has the right to drive, but they have to see, they have to have use of their body. Like you'll see, the gate of ability requires one to enter paradise in an abled form. The kingdom of God provides what it takes to depart from disability and head towards ability. And you have to learn what you have to do, whatever that is. Everything in terms of developing divine qualities, which will then lead to capacities, is much helped by society, by the good education. But no matter how much society does, the individual has a responsibility. Society can create the environment or can make it hard. But the character of the individual, the personality of the individual would persevere and would do what's right and would make it there. Or they can stumble, and then we have to be there to lift them and to show them the way. I was mentioning in the previous segment that the character makes a big difference. Now, this has to be very encouraging. Character develops through the education at home, through the education in society, through the choices that you make. Hardships are not an excuse. Some of the best characters have developed in some of the most difficult situations. There's understanding where there's trauma or there are extreme hardships. There is understanding, divine and human understanding. There is help that increases every day more with the increase of the light in the people on Earth. But the fact that we understand doesn't mean we take you by the hand and we usher you in a place that you are not compatible with. If you had hardships and the only way you got away from punishment was lying, you can be forgiven, but you have to stop lying in order to be able to enter paradise. You have to stop lying in order to do well in the kingdom of God on earth. The old system would encourage you to lie, because the old system wanted to degrade the human quality, wanted to have hell bigger than paradise. This is the system that's the system of God, that values every individual and that helps every individual to develop, with the help from around, wherever that is, to develop their qualities. With that, they develop their capacities. They can be perseverant and study, and then they develop their capacity to memorize, to understand, to imagine, to invent, to participate, to create. There's much that can happen in that manner. Each individual will have the possibility. Some, unfortunately, may not make it at first. They are alive today and they may not learn fast enough how to stay healthy, how to live longer, and how to do it better. But anybody who is departing at this time is not taken by death, is taken by light that brings them back, that puts them in the best conditions for them to develop, so that next time they are at the gates of paradise, they will make it. For people who missed our previous shows, we recommend that you go and visit YouTube and type in search Paradise Now Dialogues with the Mother. You'll find there all the episodes. Please leave your comments. We're interested in what you think. We're looking forward to hear from you. We're currently looking for advertisers and sponsors for our show. If you wish to advertise or sponsor our show, please refer to the information on the screen and contact us. Thank you. This is the host of the show, Sanda Davis, letting you know that people called and asked about a book with the content of the show, and I'm happy to let you all know that the book is already being put together and is being edited. It will be available with the main topics.
Float me on the China Sea, float me on the China Sea, float me on the China Sea. Long way from home, on the boulevard of...
We're talking about the plan of God for people and for the whole thing. Now, I was mentioning that for people that are here on earth, born in human form, the plan is to give them the best help possible for them to develop, to become paradise compatible. We already have 38% of the population in, actually it's gone past 38, in paradise, and we have 60% of the population paradise compatible. Means they need to learn a little bit, they need to fix a little bit some issues, and then all of a sudden they wake up one day that they feel and they know that they are in a better dimension. And that starts their development in a very helpful way. now we'll have the other 40% that will need 40 years of work. For 20 years, we cannot take our eyes off of those that need help, because they've come from black holes, they've come from places that are not very happy, they've been through a lot of hardships, they've been instrumental in maintaining the old system, they've been aggressors, they've been those who would crush others, and now they'll have to back off from impeding anybody's development and realize that they need help for their own development. There's a total will to assist everybody. Because if you look at somebody who is aggressive and who harms another, they most definitely or most likely have a history of aggression. So if they had aggression in their family, if they had aggression in their star, if they had aggression in their spiritual dimension, in their stars, one star only cannot stir up aggression. If they had a pattern of aggression that they could not escape, they are blessed to be on earth at this time when aggression will be subsiding, and when the good qualities, the divine qualities of people would yearn towards peace and will give everybody a chance. The very good people with divine qualities and divine capacities to understand, they will not sit in judgment of those who are lost or who go on a negative path. They would have compassion and understanding, not allowed to be taken advantage of, because that's another thing. They don't have to become codependent just because they understand, but they can become very helpful to all of those that need help to come out of what holds them back from their own future, from their own health, from their own longevity. So at the individual level, all the help will be there from people, through people, from angels, through people, through angels, from the divine levels, from community at large, from governments that, and international associations that will look at the problems and do something to resolve the problems, like put an end to hunger, for instance. There are a lot of people on earth at all levels who are working to put an end to hunger. That should have never happened, but then that's how the old system was doing things. Now we have to resolve and to heal, literally wipe the tears of those who pushed into deplorable conditions. And wiping the tears is one thing, but we have to bring a smile on their face, first knowing that we are there for them, but then really helping, because just saying smile is nice, but it's not necessarily all the help that is necessary. This is the host of the show, Sanda Davis, letting you know that people called and asked about a book with the content of the show, and I'm happy to let you all know that the book is already being put together and is being edited. It will be available.
Float me on the China Sea, float me on the China Sea, float me on the China Sea. Long way from home, on the boulevard of...
Welcome back. We're talking about the plan of God. And in the first segments, I've been talking more about the plan for the individual journey within the general context. Now I have to give you a little bit more about the general context. The general context is that the Earth dimensions right now are made of mainly two components. One which is the kingdom of God, and the other one which is the best part of the kingdom of God, the paradise dimensions. The kingdom of God on earth is focused on earth. The paradise dimensions are focusing both on paradise on earth to achieve paradise on the entire planet. At the same time, paradise is focused, the paradise dimensions connect to other levels that lead to the human development in the context of the solar system, of the galaxy, of the universe, of the cosmos, of the divine realms, realms of angelic realms, deity, divinity. There's a very well organized and very complex evolution that is available. And the plan harmonizes all of this as creating the best conditions on earth by creating completely paradise on earth. Earth is paradise in itself, but the people of the earth are not in a paradise condition because of having been ruled by evil for 12,000 years in an obvious way, but there's been more than 12,000 years. You can count 12 more and even go deeper when the plan to overthrow the good was already being made in the head of who attacked and who overthrew the good. But the good is infinite, so obviously it overcame, and we'll talk about those aspects of the evolution where from what's known as the fall from grace to the consequences of that, and now to the ascension to the place where there's no more fall. The fall from grace was possible in certain dimensions and in certain conditions. Any of the paradise beings that ascend to divine positions, they will never fall from grace. In time, with future clarifications, with future episodes, you'll understand more about that. But you have to understand that that individual journey from wherever one comes from to paradise is the journey part. Then comes the evolution that happens in paradise towards other dimensions. The plan as a whole will be explained to you very briefly in the next segment, but also we'll continue to discuss about the plan within the year of renewal. What do you have to do? What is your share in the context of fulfilling the plan?
Float me on the China Sea, float me on the China Sea, float me on the China Sea. Long way from home, on the boulevard of...
Briefly, the plan of God was to stop the evil, and the evil has been stopped. Now what has to happen is that the behavior and the learning that came from the evil has to be stopped. the essence, the entities of evil no longer exist, no longer have any power. We saved everything. If a person was possessed by evil, we had to free them from that evil so that they can develop as good beings, good people. But if somebody was the embodiment of evil, we had to work with that as well. In many levels, in many ways, evil had to be stopped. Now we have many years of education and personal change to put an end to the behaviors that were the wrong ones. The plan of God to stop the evil and now to teach the people how to earn their step to paradise, how to understand and prepare for their much longer, much healthier life that has many more aspects of development in the context of life on Earth and beyond. There'll be life on other planets, there'll be life in other solar systems, and people from Earth will be able to enjoy exploration, development, starting life on new planets, and many, many, many wonderful and amazing things. But they'll do it one way only. They don't go there with photon torpedoes. It's like the Star Trek, I love them, but they will have protection from light. It may not be photons that can harm, but it will be divine light that will stop the harm. People will be protected wherever they go. It's just a different kind of light that doesn't produce harm. But the future will be godly. What refuses to be godly will be at the bottom of the line, at the end of the line in terms of their access to the future. And gradually, as they are born and they develop, people will not want to do harm. They'll look back like, oh, so good we came out of that kind of way. And what happens is that the plan of God responded to the prayers of people, and that's what I'll tell you a little bit about in the next segment. The initial plan of God was to have it all go well, everything was well lined up, and with the possibility that some will do it right and some will not want to do right or not be able to do right. So we had to face the problems that occurred from the reality of the fact that there were different levels of reality that created problems and some created solutions. Now, what creates solution is way more powerful than anything that creates problems, and we have to implement the solutions at all levels so that everybody can have their own evolution. In the next segment, I will tell you a little bit more, and that will clear for you what the plan is, if you didn't understand so far.
Float me on the China Sea, float me on the China Sea, float me on the China Sea. Long way from home, on the boulevard of...
Welcome back. This is the last segment of today's show, but the topic will continue. And I have to tell you that a while ago I was telling you that on the earth we had purgatory, kingdom, and paradise. Well, purgatory turned out to be a scandal more than anything, because no one in purgatory could believe that the evil would disappear. Therefore, they were too afraid to stand up to the evil and free themselves from their problems. So they pretended that they go with the evil ways because they're afraid of that stand-up. When the evil was defeated, purgatory was not necessary anymore. So purgatory did dissolve as a structure that was there to help people to recover from their evil issues or from being controlled by evil and stopped from their recovery. Like, for instance, people with addictions who are controlled by powerful structures and substances that are making it hard for them to recover. And purgatory is there to give them the strength to overcome. Well, some may have stopped, but I'm talking about very serious evils. Attackers, those who are fighting for the evil to continue, see, not the best of fields. It took the dissolution of the evil for those in purgatory to find themselves in the kingdom, because no people are evil. They may have been taught the wrong ways. They may have been forced or formed in ways that were not good, that are far from being good, but they are being helped to come along. So right now, we no longer have to be concerned with purgatory, kingdom, and paradise. We are dealing with kingdom that has all the solutions for all the problems. And we have paradise that has all the solutions for any problems that may surface. But the main role of paradise is development, evolution, training for cosmic placements, so to speak, after the life on earth ends for some of the individuals, and they go where they belong. And while kingdom is mostly a healing and teaching, a restorative, a renewal kind of teaching, there's much more renewal in paradise, but people have to start in the kingdom part, regardless of religion. But in the kingdom part, they have to start to develop their divine qualities. They have to start training themselves for developing the character of their choice, rather than whatever character they ended up with because of historic, social, political, family context, personal situations, karma, or whatever was there to prevent them from having the best character. Now, everybody has to develop their character, their qualities, so that they can develop their own capacities. And there are capacities that will serve their success professionally, their success in family, and there are capacities that will serve their success in longevity. You already see that right now there are more people living more than 100 years and being active and conscious and optimistic. There are more people over 100 years old, and that trend would increase much more. Looking forward to hear from you.